Okay, I'm going to quickly review the atherosclerosis risk analysis activity with you when you are in Schoology. You need to make a copy of the slide deck. It says watch activity explanation here. That's what I'm currently recording now. If you can, I encourage you to print slide 3. It's just a little bit easier because you're using that to determine the risk points. You'll see in just a few minutes why. And then once you're done, you'll submit the completed slide deck. So this is my slide deck. It reviews what atherosclerosis is. It's a disease not only found in older people, but it begins in youth. So your habits now will affect you later on in life. So it's important to start looking at your risk factors and how you can control those, reduce them, and avoid them. So a quick explanation of the directions. You're going to read the character profile cards so that you're familiar with the information for each character. Those are located on separate slides and look like this. You are then going to record the traits the characters have in the table provided after each character profile slide. So that slide looks like this. You'll notice that I already have a lot of the information collected. Once you're done with that, you're going to utilize slide 3 to determine the character's risk points and the total for their atherosclerosis risk score. And once you've done that, you are going to use the probability graph to determine the probability of developing atherosclerosis later on in life. Okay, so first going to look at Keisha Adventitia. It gives you a brief overview of her personal history. Then it gives you family history and all of her test results in regards to the risk factors that we're looking at. So just from reading this, she's an adorable, although chubby African-American baby with big bright eyes and dimples. She is 14 years old. Still chubby, but doing well in school. Because she was heavy, she was embarrassed to play in sports, so she chose music instead. It then talks about that she hates the smell of cigarettes and has never smoked. Her family history, obesity on both sides. Her grandfather just died of heart disease. Her father has heart problems and also has diabetes on both sides. And then she has her medical test results here. So if we go over to her collecting her evidence, I recorded the character traits that were evident in her history. So she's 14, she's female, non-smoker, obesity, heart disease, diabetes, normal. Blood pressure, hyperglycemia is 8.9. Her non-HDLs, which are the bad ones, are at 145. HDLs are 35, and her BMI to indicate obesity is at 35. So these risk points is where the student data page comes in. So depending on what category she falls in determines her risk points. So for example, she was 14, so that's why she got 0 points in for age. For gender or sex, she is a female, so she got a -1. Smoking, she's a non-smoker. You will notice that's a 0. And then looking at her family history, we have obesity, heart disease, and diabetes. So there, 1 point for obesity, 3 points for diabetes, and 6 points for heart problems. So that's a total of 10 points that you put here. And then you continue to do that for all of her results. And then you calculate her final risk score, which would be a 28. Once you have that, you're going to look at the probability chart and determine about or her approximate probability. So you have to kind of identify where 28 would be. So it's on the closer side to 30. And then you're going to draw a straight line up to determine her probability. And since the line intersects, you're looking for where the line intersects with the curve, and that would be right here. So she would have a 50% chance of developing atherosclerosis sometime in her life. Okay? So, now that you have that done, you'll continue on with Jack Plack Jr. And looking at his history. Pete Platelet, Marty Artery, Luke Lumen, and Sarah Sclera. Okay. Once you have all that done, you're going to go to the conclusion slide where you will determine which character has the greatest probability based on all the evidence you collected. What are the reasons or factors for this conclusion? And what health changes are needed to avoid and reduce the risk of major health problems so that they can start making changes now. Once you have all of that done, you will submit your completed slide deck.